Hi, this is LB from the Dartmouth Student Wellness Center. This is day one of ReCentering, a 7-day yoga challenge. In order for this challenge to be sustainable and safe, we're going to start with the foundations of an asana practice. So our focus will be on breath work, on safe alignment, and our intention will be on present moment awareness and bringing some self-kindness in. Enjoy, and I'll see you on the mat. We'll begin this journey together in a comfortable seated posture on your mat. So I invite you to just shift side to side until you find that you're creating this steady foundation out of your sitting bones, out of your legs, in order for your torso to begin to grow a little taller. The crown of the head reaches towards the sky. And so, as much as we're rooting down with the sitting bones, the bottom part of our body, there is a lightness and lift within the top half of our body. And then there's softening at our shoulders, between our eyes and our jaw. And it might feel nice to let your eyes close or to take a soft downward gaze. And just to allow your awareness to begin to settle into this moment, to let go of whatever it took to get you on the mat today, letting go of to-do lists, plans, worries, and allow yourself to make that gradual and gentle shift to being here, to being present. Taking a few deep breaths and allowing your awareness to settle on the sensations of those breaths as you breathe in and expand through the rib cage. And as you breathe out, feeling your belly deflate, the lungs deflate. Inhaling and exhaling, completely emptying the air out. And then if you wish, I'll invite you to bring your hands in front of heart center in Anjali Mudra. And begin just to get a little brighter in the chest. So lift the heart up towards the thumbs and press the thumbs back into the heart. Taking this moment to set an intention for our practice is really the key to our practice. It's so important to act as a guidepost for our heart, our minds, and our body. So I invite you to consider what it is that brought you to this challenge, to this class, what you might be hoping to receive or to feel. Perhaps it's strength or patience or awareness or simply relaxation. So taking a moment to come up with a word or a phrase that you want to remember as we move into the 7-day challenge, or maybe even just for today's class. And repeat that word or phrase to yourself several times. And I'll also offer the intention of paying attention and being kind and nurturing to yourself as we come into this asana flow. And I want you to bow your head towards your heart, feeling that intention in. Release your hands to your legs and inhale the chin back up. And so organizing your body so that the ears are above the shoulders are above the hips. So a nice, again, long, wakeful spine, but a strong, steady base. And we're going to begin with coming into the Ujjayi breath, which I'll invite you to maintain as we move into our practice as well. So this breath, the Ujjayi breath, also known as victorious breath or ocean breathing because of the sound it creates within our throat, um, is not only a relaxing breath, but it's also an internally warming breath, and it's an energizing breath as well. So it's perfect for a yoga practice. How this breath works is that it's in and out through the nose with a closed mouth. It's a 3 to 4 second inhale, followed by a 3 to 4 second exhale. And you slightly constrict your throat muscles right where your Adam apple, if you have one, would be. And it creates a whispery sound similar to the ocean. So it's going to sound something like this. And if you're wondering how to create that sound by constricting your throat muscles, you're going to be using the same muscles you use if you clear your throat, that same area, just a slight gentle constriction. Another good way to find it is if you imagine that you're fogging your glasses or a mirror to clean. Um, and let's do that. Let's pretend our hand is a mirror. And just for a moment, with an open mouth and a ha sound, breathe into your hand in that way. Great. That's the same action. We're going to do that now with mouth closed on the inhale and the exhale. So inhale, exhale. Beautiful. Continue there. I'll invite you to bring some patience in if it's a little troubling in the beginning. Just the intention of being open to this breath. 3 to 4 second inhale, 3 to 4 second exhale. Slight constriction of the throat muscles. And now continuing with this breath, we'll begin to link our breath with our movement. So as you're ready, let your arms drop to your hips and inhale, press through the sitting bones. Lift your arms up to the sky. Let your gaze follow. Exhale, take up more space as your palms turn down, stretching your fingers, feeling the arms as gravity helps them to the ground. Inhale, root down with the sitting bones to extend the arms towards the sky. Open throat. This time, pausing at the top. Exhale, softening shoulders down. And then from here, letting your right hand find the floor right beside your right hip. That left arm is still extending up. Beginning to shift your weight into your right hand, feeling the left side of your body begin to stretch between each and every rib. And so this action moving towards the left is actually what helps us into this side stretch. Weight is equally distributed between both sitting bones. Neck is long, shoulders are soft. Elbow can be bent here as much or as little as you need. And then you get to kind of play with how far you want to come into this side stretch. Both shoulders are moving back, chest is open, neck is long. Gaze is looking out in a place that feels comfortable for your neck. One more breath in and exhale. Inhale, press through that right hand to help float that arm to meet your left. Do a little clap up top. And then keep the right arm lifted as you lower the left hand to the ground. This time, pressing the mat away, the earth away with that left hand, feeling space between each and every rib on the right side of your body, and then beginning to come into the side stretch here. Again, this side might feel different, so you might want to bend the elbow a little bit or a lot, or you might want to straighten the arm. And then from here, noticing what's happening in the sitting bones. Noticing if weight's more on the left side, and if that's the case, just begin to balance it out, rooting down with that right side of the sitting bone as much as the left. Neck is supported by the shoulders. It's long. Gaze is looking out comfortably in a way that feels okay for your neck. One more breath here. Inhale and exhale. Inhale, press the earth away from you, bringing both arms up, clapping at the top. And then exhale, hands down to the tops of your knees. Inhale, get length through the torso, feeling the heart reach forward, the shoulders draw back. And then from here, hinging on the outer edge of your sitting bones, begin to lean your chest forward. Coming into our first forward fold, tucking the chin slightly so the back of the neck is in line with the rest of the spine. Gaze is slightly looking down. Now, this might be as far as you want to go. You might not have even gotten that far. So, keeping that nice open chest, long spine, begin to allow the breath to evolve with this forward fold. Inhale. Imagine the spine telescoping out, getting a little bit longer. Exhale. Perhaps you soften a millimeter more towards your legs. Inhale, reaching out through the crown of the head. And exhale to lower. You might find that your hands want to crawl to the floor, and that's fine. Taking it slow and steady, creating this foundation, keeping the shoulders wide, the spine long. We often think lower is better, but in this instance, I really invite you to think about getting length, getting longer rather than lower, and the fold will come from there. If this begins to happen, you begin to arch around your heart, you stretch your shoulder blades from one another, that might be a good signal you're going a little too far, and you just back up. Taking one more breath wherever you are, inhaling and exhaling. And inhale, walk the hands back up and in, coming into that nice balanced spine once again. And we're going to come over onto our hands and knees into a tabletop position. And so again, really focusing on the foundations here. So focusing on creating a strong foundation of your base, starting with your hands and arms. So wrists are underneath shoulders here. Fingers are spread widely away from one another. You can see equal space between each finger. Wrist creases are parallel to the edge of the mat. Then arms, biceps are hugging towards one another, but heart just gently softens. Knees are underneath hips. Hips and knees are about hip distance apart. And then moving up to the core, there's a gentle draw in of the low belly. The crown of the head is reaching long, the tailbone is reaching long, gaze is looking down. Nice, strong, strong tabletop. Now moving into some spinal flexion with cat and cow. So in your next inhale, we're going to scoop the tailbone out. Drop the belly, melt the heart, keep the arms straight and strong. Open the throat, lift the chin. Feel the collarbone spread away from the ears. Feel the sitting bones widen. And as you exhale, reversing that with a wave-like motion, starting with the base of your tailbone, scoop it under, arch the spine in angry cat, let the head drop passively. Feel the shoulders spread away from one another. And then beginning to link your breath with your movement, swaying back and forth, these two opposing postures with your breath. Inhaling to sway forward, exhaling to arch back. Inhale. And exhale, moving at your own pace. And beginning to come back into that neutral spine, where the low belly slightly drawn in, arms are engaged, neck is long. And from here, placing some of the weight more into the left side of your body, begin to draw the right foot out long, keeping those right toes on the ground. And from here, feeling the right hip move back into its socket, so squaring off the hips, you'll feel a little wake up in the low belly. And then begin to walk those left fingertips out long, tenting your fingers on the ground, doing that same hug with your left shoulder joint. So everything's hugging towards the midline. The core is engaged, the body is strong yet supple. And an option here to play with balance. And you might want to float that back leg, pressing through that back heel, noticing if one hip lifted higher than the other, and just re-square them off. Other options to float the left arm. Again, hugging everything towards the midline. That's going to help keep your balance. 3 to 4 second inhale. 3 to 4 second exhale. One more breath and just notice what's happening in your neck. Letting your neck be long, gaze is looking down. Shoulders and hips are square. And slowly let everything come down. If it was lifted, back to the mat. One cow belly breath here. Inhale to sway open. Exhale to arch. Inhale to that neutral spine. And find your foundation before coming into this pose. So first starting with the left leg. And although you know where we're going, seeing if you can keep this sense of beginner's mind, just focusing what you feel in this side of your body. It might be different than the other side. And then walking those right fingertips out. Here might be plenty to work with, feeling the engagement hugging towards the core, keeping the neck long, the breath present. Or you might want to play with balance. You might lift the left heel up, noticing that left hip lifted at all, and if it did, just draw it down, draw that hip socket in, and then maybe you play with lifting that right hand, or something in between, knowing you can always touch back down when and if you need. And readjust the core, drawing everything to the midline, and one long line of energy from the left heel all the way out through that right thumb. One more breath, inhale. And as you exhale, let everything touch down. Beautiful. One cow belly breath. Inhale to sway. Exhale and arch. Inhale to that neutral spine. And this time, walk your knees out almost the width of your mat. Let your big toes come towards touching and place the tops of the feet on the mat. From here, walk your hips, your hands back towards your heels, coming into child's pose. So just first placing your forearms on the ground. And then for some of us, we might want to place fists on top of one another as a little pillow for our head. Or you can even just place palms on one another. Or you might find the mat is a comfortable resting spot for your head. But having the forehead rest on something and letting the sitting bones reach towards the heels, coming into a shape that feels restful for you. And recentering with your breath here. So this is a lovely posture to come in whenever you feel like you're not breathing or that you need to take a moment. Regardless of what my voice or anybody else's voice is saying, this is always an option. Taking one more breath here together. Inhale and exhale. And inhale, slowly roll up with your spine, coming back into that tabletop position, knees underneath hips, toes tucked under, arms, wrists underneath shoulders, and begin to draw the hips back towards the heels now. Walk your fingers out long and float your ears between your biceps, coming into puppy dog pose. This is a nice variation for any type of dog that we come in. Often we come to downward facing dog with lifted knees, but sometimes you might want to put your knees down. So this is the variation you will come into. Here the arms lift, the armpits hollow out, and the heart melts. The head is long, the neck is long, the hips, you're pressing away the mat with the hands as you reach the hips towards the heels. Now either stay here, or you're welcome to come into full downward facing dog where you lift the knees, and maybe you walk the feet out a couple of inches to get a nice long stance. And bringing your feet about fist distance apart from one another, maybe a little wider if you have tighter hamstrings. And then let's focus on the foundation of this posture. So first looking at your hands. So same as we were in tabletop. Fingers are spread equally. Wrist creases are parallel to the front edge of the mat. Arms are at least shoulder distance, if not wider, apart from one another. Pressing down particularly with the thumb and the index finger. Arms hug towards one another as head drops passively. And then you press the floor away from you as you reach your heart towards your upper legs, lifting the hips towards the sky, might raise the heels a little bit, and then keeping all of this lift with the hips, the arms, then let the heels descend towards the ground. They don't need to touch, just going in that direction. And it might feel nice to pedal out your legs a couple of times, say hello to those hamstrings. And then coming into some stillness in this posture. Letting the gaze look either between the shins or the ankles, so head is truly passive here. Hips are reaching high and back. One more breath, inhale and exhale. And inhale, bend your knees, look forward, and make your way to the front of the mat, taking as many steps as you need to arrive into our first forward fold, which is going to be quite passive, meaning knees bent pretty deeply, arms just dangling, maybe hugging opposite elbows with opposite hands, and just letting yourself sway side to side, maybe even shake your head yes and no back and forth. Just allowing yourself to waterfall out over your hips. Inhale, and as you exhale, release the fingers. And inhale, press through the feet, round, roll yourself all the way up, coming up lastly with your head. Inhaling the shoulders up, back, and down. Mountain pose. Strong, steady mountain. Feet hip distance apart, paralleling off your feet. Lift and spread your toes and press through all four corners of your feet, feeling the ground beneath you. Slight scoop of the tailbone, light draw in of the low belly. Shoulders soft, palms slightly open. Heart open, chin parallel to the ground. Crown of the head reaching up to the sky. Inhale, extend your arms overhead, interlacing your fingers above your head, and exhale, reach the inside of your hands towards the sky. Exhale, soften your shoulders. And then inhale, coming to the right. So the left hip's going to draw to the left. The arms, the hands, which are framing the ears, are going to reach to the right. Notice if one shoulder is moving forward or back, and just draw both shoulders back equally. Weight equally distributed in both feet. As you root down through the feet, inhale all the way back to center. Exhale, reestablish those soft shoulders. And inhale, coming to a side stretch towards the left. Reaching the palms in front, right hip reaching towards the right side of the wall, left foot drawing down as much as the right, shoulders, biceps are aligned and squared. Taking one more breath here, inhale and exhale. Inhale, back up to center. Exhale, release your hands and fold all the way down. Knees can bend a lot or a little here, dropping the head completely. And then pressing through the feet, inhale, rise up, flat back, tabletop. Gaze is looking down, shoulders moving away from your ears, back of the legs engaged. Exhale, hinge at the hips to fold all the way forward. Inhale, rooting through the feet to rise all the way to stand. Gaze looks overhead at your hands. Exhale, follow your hands down, coming all the way down once again. Inhale, sweeping up, flat back. Truly long spine here. And exhale to lower. Inhale, pressing through the feet, rising up once again, taking up more space as you lift. And exhale, following hands down through heart center. One cleansing breath here. Inhale. And with an open mouth, let it out with a sigh. And release your hands down your side. And we're going to just flow through a few rounds of Surya Namaskar, sun salutations, to warm up the body and a really beautiful foundation for many asana practice. So from here, again, linking breath with movement. Inhale, press through the feet, lift your arms up. Exhale, swan dive out over your legs. Inhale, flat back. Exhale and fold, hands to the mat, stepping first back with your left foot, drawing the left knee to the ground, then letting your right knee follow, coming into that tabletop position. Inhale to cow belly. Exhale to cat. Inhale to a neutral spine. Exhale to puppy dog, an option for downward facing dog. 2 breaths here. So this Surya Namaskar, this sun salutation, is a little bit more of a gentler version, one that we might want to take when we need a little bit more ease in our day. So we're going to go through that one more time. So taking one breath here in downward facing dog. Bend your knees, look forward, and walk your feet up to the front of the mat. And as you arrive, inhale, nice flat back. Exhale to fold. Inhale, press to the feet, lift your arms overhead, look up. Exhale, hands down through heart center. Inhale, extend the arms towards the sky. Exhale, swan dive out over your hips. Inhale, lifting halfway lift. Exhale, placing hands in the mat, stepping your right foot back long, knee to the ground, followed by your left knee. Inhale to cow. Exhale to cat. Inhale to a neutral spine and coming into puppy dog. And then exhale, optional downward facing dog here. Come back to your breath. 3 to 4 second inhale. 3 to 4 second exhale. Check in with the foundation of your hands, your arms. Check where your gaze is. And feel the hips rise to the sky, heels lower. As you're ready, inhale, bend your knees and walk your feet to the front of the mat. Coming halfway up. And exhale to lower. Inhale, press to the feet, lifting your arms. And exhaling, hands down to heart center. And now we're going to add on a little bit, but know you can always come to that variation of sun salutation we just did with the cat and the cow option, always available for you. But if you'd like to move forward with me, I'll invite you to come to the front of your mat. Inhale, sweep the arms up. Exhale, swan dive out. Inhale, halfway lift, nice long spine. Exhale to fold, hands to the mat. Stepping your feet back long to a top of a push-up. And then letting the knees fall to the ground, but pausing here for a moment, working on the foundation here. And so there's a nice long line of energy from your tailbone reaching out through the crown of the head. Hands are spread like they are in tabletop and downward facing dogs. Biceps are hugging towards one another. Heart is gently melting. Chin is slightly tucked in. Low belly drawing in. So we're not collapsing the low belly or the back. Gently drawing in. And then we're going to begin to bend your elbows, but keep them close into your ribs, seeing if you can let everything touch down at the same time, your belly and your chest. Lower on an exhale. Nice. Hands underneath shoulders, chin to the ground, point your toes, press through the tops of your feet so much so that the kneecaps lift, gently hugging your ankles towards one another, and then pull your heart forward, coming into cobra pose, using your back muscles rather than placing a lot of weight in your hands. In fact, maybe float your hands for a couple of moments, feeling the lift come to behind your heart, not jerking your head up. Smooth, easy breathing. Exhale, hands down, under shoulders, tuck your toes, press back onto hands and knees into that plank, and then exhale back, puppy dog or downward facing dog. Beautiful. One breath here, inhale, and exhale. And inhale, bend your knees, look forward, walk your feet to the front of the mat, rising up halfway lift on that inhale. And exhale, hinging at the hips, folding forward. Inhale, bend, rooting down through the feet to rise all the way up. And we're going to flow right through. Exhale, folding back down. Inhale, sweeping up. Exhale, placing your hands down, bending your knees, stepping back along with your left foot, followed by your right, coming to high plank. Lower the knees down, and then exhale, bend the elbows, lower everything with control to the ground. Tops of the feet to the mat, inhale to that cobra pose. Exhale and lower. Inhale, tuck your toes, press back into that plank position, and then exhale back, downward facing dog. Always an option for child's pose here or some other variation of this. One more breath, inhale. And and exhale. And inhale, bend your knees. Maybe you take one big step up this time with each foot. Maybe it's many little steps, doesn't matter. Inhale, sweeping up, halfway lift. Exhale and folding. Inhale, bending your knees, sitting down, Utkatasana, chair pose, reaching your arms behind you. And then exhaling your arms out in front, pressing the air away to stand all the way up into mountain pose. Deep breath in, deep breath out. Keeping your right foot where it's at, I'm going to invite you to step your left foot back long. Take a nice long stance here where the heel, the front heel, if you drill a straight line back, will be aligned with your back heel or even a little bit of your arch. We're going to come into warrior one to start. And so here, we're going to begin to square the hips towards the front of the room. That might mean you want to heel toe your back foot in ever so slightly and put it on a 45-degree angle. And then from here, scoop the tailbone down. Really fire up that back leg, letting the foundation be the back heel, rooting into the ground. And then rooting with the inner edge of your front foot. Drawing right hip back, left hip forward. Hips, shoulders square to the front of the room. And then beginning to leave weight into that back foot, begin to bend in towards that right knee. Hugging thighs towards one another. Scooping tailbone, and then inhale, arms shoulder height. Exhale, draw the arm bones into their sockets, and then inhale to lift. Feeling just light coming out of your fingers, feeling strong and steady in your legs, in that foundation so that you can lift up and out. Taking one more breath, inhale. And as you exhale, the left arm is going to reach back, right arm forward. You're going to pivot your back foot ever so slightly so that you can begin to open your hips like a book rather than keeping them straight or square. Coming to warrior two. From here, there's still weight going out through the back foot, particularly the back edge of that back foot. There's weight going into the inner edge of the front foot. And then we bend our knee towards 90 degrees and open that knee towards our fourth toe on that foot. So if we look down, we can see our big toe. Ears are over shoulders. Shoulders are still over hips. You might notice you want to go more in this direction or that direction. So keep your torso centered. And then arms lift shoulder height. Shoulders soften. Gaze looks out over the middle finger. 3 to 4 second inhale. 3 to 4 second exhale. One more breath. And then keeping your legs just as they are, let your left hand find the back of your left leg, flip your front palm, and begin to reverse your warrior. So it's not a collapse of our low back, but we're lifting out of our hips to come back. Arching up and over, feeling length and stretch from that right hip all the way out through our right fingertips. Letting the shoulders remain down on our back. One more breath. Inhale. And exhale. Inhale, press through the feet to rise all the way up. Inhale, straighten that front leg. Clap your hands overhead. Pivot your right foot so it's now parallel to the left foot. And then now pivot your left foot towards the back of your mat, drawing the right foot into that 45-degree angle. Exhaling your hands to your hips. Begin to square your hips, prepping for warrior one on this side. Rooting down with the back heel of your back leg. Rooting down with the inner edge of your front foot. Right hip forward, left hip back. And inhale, begin to bend in towards that left knee, scooping the tailbone, lifting the low belly. Inhale, sweep the arms up, shoulder height, root the sockets, and then inhale to lift. Strong, steady base. Light, supple torso. Breath is present, deep, engaged. And then begin to windmill your arms open, prepping for warrior two on this side. Again, just shifting that back foot ever so slightly in a way that it feels like you can now open your hips. Just like a book, that right hip's going to draw back, left hip draws back. Left knee bending towards 90 degrees out towards your fourth little toe on that foot. Ears over shoulders, shoulders over hips, arms reach out from the shoulders. Shoulders soften. Maybe corners of the mouth rise up a little bit. Breathing in, breathing out. Letting that back hand touch the back of your leg, flipping your left palm and reversing your warrior. Again, thinking about lifting out of the hips rather than collapsing at the low back. Left knee stays bent pretty deeply. Feeling space between each and every rib on the left side of your body. And inhale, press through the feet to float up. Straighten that front knee. Pivot that left foot to be parallel to the right. Clap your hands. And exhale, hands to heart center. And then begin to heel toe your feet towards one another, keeping them about hip distance apart. And let your feet move out at an angle. And we're just going to begin to come into a squat. And so squat might be right here for some of us. Some of us might get pretty low. Place your hands on the ground here. Some of us might want to keep our heels lifted. That's fine. Or some of us might want to put a couple pillows underneath our butt. That's fine too. For just letting the groins go heavy. The shoulders draw back. The breath soften. And nice. Now putting one hand in front, one hand behind. Help yourself onto your sitting bones with knees bent. And placing your hands underneath the crease of your knees, beginning to lift your heart up towards your knees, drawing the elbows down. And begin to walk your toes in towards your bum. And you might stay right here, just playing with this balance on our sitting bones. You're welcome to lift the feet, coming into boat pose. Heart still draws forward. And if you'd like to, you can even release your hands. Feeling that core wake up a little bit. Taking one more breath here. Inhale. And exhale. And then inhale to come to seat, feet on the ground. Inhale the soles of your feet towards touching, hands on your ankles. And just ending here, one of our ending poses, just with a little seated forward fold. So as you press the big toe mounts together, drawing the knees down, drawing elbows towards one another, reaching your heart forward. Again, for many of us, this might be where we pause or we breathe. For some of us that have a little bit more length and space, you might find that you can come down. Again, keeping the integrity of the shoulders, the chest, so we're not rounding around the heart. Inhale, length. And then exhale, soften. One more breath here. Inhale. And exhale. Inhale to rise up. Placing your hands underneath your knees, draw your knees towards one another. Then keeping your feet on the floor, reach your fingers out long. And exhale, draw yourself onto your back with control. Hugging your knees into your chest. You're rocking side to side, rolling around on your sacrum. Let your feet find the floor. And your arms open by your side. And then heel toe your feet out so they're the same width as your mat. And let your right knee fall towards the right and your left knee fall towards the right as well. Gentle spinal twist. slowing down your breath. On your next inhale, letting your knees come back through center and just letting yourself go towards the other side. And inhale, knees back through center. Place your hands, palms down on your mat, and just for a quick little back bend, inhale, press through the feet, lift up through the hips, lift your chin away from your chest, and exhale, roll the spine down, hugging your knees in one last time. Make yourself really small, like a seed, maybe even lift your forehead towards your knees. And then inhale to extend everything out, coming into Shavasana, into our final relaxation pose. So letting your feet flop out comfortably, letting your arms come at least 8 to 10 inches away from your hips, if not more. Palms face open if that feels okay. Shoulders just draping into the ground. Letting go of any effort of breathing, so letting go of the Ujjayi breath. And just letting yourself come into full rest, allowing the ground beneath you to do all the work for you, letting the foundation come up to support you. You're welcome to stay in this supported, relaxed ending posture, which is one of the most important postures of yoga, to really let everything integrate in for as long as you may have time for. But when it feels complete for you, I invite you to just deepen your breath and bring some movement back into your body. Begin to draw your knees into your chest and help yourself in whatever way is comfortable up to a comfortable seated position, just the way we started. If you'd like, bring hands back in Anjali Mudra, letting your eyes soften or close. Congratulating yourself for completing day one, for really feeling the strength of your foundation. And knowing when we build up from a foundation, that's where steadiness and strength lays. Bringing back your intention and knowing that the intention does not have to end once the practice ends, but we can envision it leaving with us as we step off our mat. So, from my heart to yours, namaste.